Hey everyone, it's MusicTechHelpGuy, and today I'm checking out the Glarry GTL electric guitar. This is a Telecaster body style with a bolt-on maple neck, and the crazy thing about this guitar is that it only cost $89.99 US. So it's definitely on the budget end of the spectrum, but you know, there's nothing inherently wrong with a budget guitar. I mean, my first guitar, when I first started playing as a kid, was a piece of junk compared to this. So you gotta start somewhere, right? So first, let's talk about the specs, and then I'll play you some more musical examples. So like I said, this is a T-style, a Telecaster body style, but on their website, they have several different models to pick from, all in a similar price range. For this model, there are 5 different finishes to pick from. I opted for the sunset finish. One of the first things I noticed about it when I took it out of the box was just how light it is. This thing is really super light. It's under 6 pounds. The body is basswood, and like I said before, it's got a bolt-on maple neck. It has 22 frets, and it's a standard 25.5-inch scale. And the neck plays surprisingly well. The frets are done really well. They're not sharp. I can slide my hand up and down the neck without cutting my hand, so there's no sharp edges on any of the frets. Although the fret height is a little high for my taste, but that's a minor thing. Now, I've had about 2 weeks to play around with this and jam on it a bit to break in the new strings and break in the fingerboard a bit. And yeah, it plays surprisingly well. Now, I haven't made any adjustments to the guitar. It's actually been set up pretty well straight from the factory. The strings are not too high, not too low. There's a little bit of fret buzz right around the 3rd to 6th or 7th fret, just on the G string, but otherwise everything's been set up pretty well straight from the factory. Now, one thing I have noticed is that the guitar doesn't really hold its tuning as well as some of my other guitars. Part of that is just because these are brand new strings. They're also light strings, and I'm pretty heavy-handed. But there's also just generic tuners on this. There's no brand on these at all. So I'm not exactly sure how well they actually hold their tuning. Next, let's jump down to the body. You have 2 single coil pickups, typical of what you'd see on a Tele, but of course these are probably off-brand pickups. There's a 3-way switch, so this is bridge, neck, and then both bridge and neck pickups in the middle. Then you have volume and tone knobs. So let's check out each of these pickups. I'll play a few examples with each one, with clean tones and drive tones as well. definitely a bit more hum with these pickups than I'm used to with my other guitars, but again, they're off-brand pickups, so you can't expect too much. The finish on this is really impressive. It's very beautiful with some nice wood grain in here as well. One major complaint that I have is the guitar I was sent has two pretty noticeable flaws in the finish. There's a scratch right next to the three-way switch, as well as a chip in the finish. I don't know if this is something that happened in shipping, or maybe because it's a $90 guitar, the quality control isn't so great. Also, one of the very first things I noticed right out of the box was that the screw right at the bottom of the electronics plate was stripped out, so it just kind of pulls out like this. That's something that'll need to be repaired. And one last interesting thing I wanted to point out is that the strings are set up for top loading. So if you look close at the bridge, the strings actually come in through the back of the bridge. If you flip the guitar around, there's no holes drilled through the body. Even though the bridge itself is drilled for strings to pass through, the body itself is not drilled for this. So that's my review of the Glarry GTL. Is it a fantastic guitar? No, but it's not bad by any stretch of the imagination. It plays well, it's set up pretty well, it looks really nice, minus a few blemishes. So who is this guitar for? I think this guitar is really great for people who are just getting into playing guitar and don't want to drop several $100s on their first guitar. This guitar is especially great for kids and teenagers who are picking up guitar for the first time. I used to work at a music store back in college, and kids would get really frustrated with their music lessons. They take a few months of lessons and they're not playing like Toes in a Bassi yet, and they give up. It's too hard and they give up, and it happens. So if you're a parent and you don't want to spend $500 or more on a starter guitar, the Glarrycaster is a great option. If they stick with it and they follow through with their lessons and improve, and they really fall in love with playing guitar like I did as a kid, upgrade to a nicer guitar later on. And if they give up and they don't play that much and it just sits in a corner somewhere, well, you've only lost out on $90. If you want to check out this guitar and others from Glarry, head over to GlarryMusic.com. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, please leave it a thumbs up and subscribe to the channel to see more content like this. As always, thank you so much for the support, and thanks for watching.